Welcome to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast. Be like our first one for this summer.
Yeah. Was it first time in what? 2 months, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. 2 months, yeah. So, as always, I'm your host, the Mind, and with me is my co-host, the Body.
The well-rested body. The well-rested mind.
That's right. Body and mind are at their absolute zenith with regards to rest, relaxation, and focus.
Epic peak condition.
And today, given all of our conditioning, it is time to look at the world's greatest tournament, which starts in one day.
Which is the reason for the superior concentration and conditioning, because we are taking on the world in this project. The world!
Exactly! Today is a preview of the 2018 World Cup!
In all its prime epicness!
And if we need to tell you what sport it's in, then you just go away right now.
You go home, you find your place in the world, you don't belong here.
Don't belong here. You go and you plant a shrub or something because you have no place being in the Body and Mind Sports Show.
And then later that summer, you get that shrub and you eat it because that's all you deserve.
And after you do that, you sit down and you feel shame.
And you think about what you've done.
I feel disgusted just thinking there might be somebody out there like that.
Just living a life of complete disgrace.
Ugh. So,
good to talk to you all again.
Back to focus. Today, we will be previewing the World Cup, which starts in Mother Russia on Thursday, June the 14th, with 32 of the finest soccer nations on the planet ready to take on each other for ultimate victory and the opportunity to hoist a 20-pound piece of pure gold trophy. It's probably the smallest of all the major championship trophies out there, but it's also the most expensive.
Do you know how much it's worth? Does anyone know how much it's worth?
Yeah,
it'd be something to look up. It's got to be epic.
It's got to be an epic price. Yeah, I might have to find out about that afterwards. But what we're going to start with today is we're going to look at all the groups, and we're going to delve in, analyze, and let you all know who we think is going to be the teams to watch out for and the teams you can just ignore.
Mm-hmm. We're breaking this down for entertainment, wink-wink purposes.
Yeah, wink-wink. Yes.
Nudge, nudge.
Yes, if you happen to go on a, what are they called? What kind of?
If you happen to go on an entertainment site and see, say, Portugal at an outrageous price like 26 to 1, or maybe 20 to 1, it may be something you mathematically want to look at and entertain yourself with.
And if you happen to have a spare quarter in your pocket, you might want to wager said quarter on said team at said crazy odds.
Yes.
Yes. But we'll get to the European champions pretty soon.
But we're just suggesting entertainment purposes.
Purely entertainment, just like world entertainment. World wrestling entertainment. Yes.
We're here for your entertainment.
Only for entertainment.
And suggestions of how to entertain yourself for your best financial buck.
Yes.
Or not.
So let's start by entertaining and dissecting Group A in the World Cup. We have 8 different groups, 4 teams in each, and basically the top 2 in each group move on to the next round, which then becomes a single elimination knockout phase. So so if you're not familiar, the format, everybody's in the group, 4 teams. Each team plays each other once. So you're going to get 3 games out of every team in Group 1, and top 2 escape the group. So let's start off with Group A. Group A has the host nation, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Uruguay. How are we liking this group?
Well, definitely not looking like the group of death, that's for sure.
No, this is this is kind of like the group of the barely alive, actually.
The group of the living dead.
To illustrate said non-factor here, we have Russia, which is currently ranked 70th in the world, 7-0. Saudi Arabia ranked slightly higher at 67. Egypt at 45, and finally the powerhouse Uruguay ranked at 14th. So definitely not talking about the world's elite here in this division.
Gee, I think it's obvious to say Uruguay is a favorite in this division.
And I would concur. Uruguay would definitely be the favorite. They got some legitimate big players on their side. Defenders Diego Godin, who plays in Spain for good old the other Madrid team, Athletic Madrid. And at the front, they got everyone's favorite biter, Luis Suarez.
He's with Uruguay?
Yep,
Gums is with Uruguay?
that's him.
Oh, fantastic. Everybody loves Gums.
Everybody loves Gums. So watch your necks, children, because Luis Suarez
Gums is on the loose in Russia.
He's on the loose. The vampire is in Russia, ready to suck on on more opponents. Ready to bite down on this tournament.
God, somebody send that man a burger.
So yeah, I think we're in full agreement that Uruguay is definitely the top dog in here. So the two-time World Cup champs, we think they're going to come out of this division.
Yeah, we think so.
In number one. So then the battle becomes for number two. So between Mother Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt.
Well, the Mother Russians, they're at home. You got to be taken seriously, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
Though they're kind of a wild card. You never really know what you're getting from them, do you?
No, not at all. The Russia, I think they have both their strength and their weakness. I think is both for the fact that every one of their players except one plays in the Russian league. So it's good because they should have, they should have pretty much the same style of play, and they already know all of these stadiums that they're going to play in because they play them in every week. So whether it's like things like environment, climate, all that, not a factor because they're there all the time. It's also a negative because that's the only league they know is the Russian league. And although it is a good league, pretty much every league in Europe has their own distinct style of play. So that means that these guys are used to kind of one style of play, and they're about to face teams like Saudi Arabia. Middle East teams do not play the same as European teams, which do not play the same as African teams in Egypt, and do not play the same as South American teams.
And as a matter of fact, all European teams don't even play the same as each other.
That's the thing. So literally Russia is about to face off against three teams with like three completely different styles than what they're used to. And in the case of like Saudi Arabia and Egypt, most of them as well, they would have very little knowledge of these teams to begin with. They're not teams that they would normally play against. And most of the players on those teams are not teams they recognize either.
It sounds like a lot of hot garbage in this division.
Yeah, it's quite the mystery. Russia, Russia should finish second because they do have the talent to do it. But unfortunately, history shows that Russia has vastly underperformed for many years now. And despite going out and literally getting the best coaches that money can buy, it still hasn't helped to improve the Russian program.
Be interesting to see if being at home will help or hinder them. Does it help because they're at home and have support, or does it hinder them because of the pressure of being at home?
That's right. So that's going to be a big factor in how Russia deals with that kind of pressure. Obviously, if they get off to a good start against Saudi Arabia, they have a good game, dominant game, confident game, then I think that could springboard them then to pretty much finishing in second or even in first. Mm-hmm. You never know. Egypt, the Pharaohs here, the one thing that makes them interesting is they do have an all-star player in Mohamed Salah. He's a striker who plays for Liverpool, and he is actually currently one of the top goal scorers in all of Europe. So the one caveat with him is he is coming to this tournament with a bit of an injury. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a shoulder injury, which he picked up in the final of the Champions League, which was 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago.
How major shoulder injury is this?
They expected right now he's kind of like iffy whether he's definitely gonna play in the tournament.
But at what level?
But at what level? So they expect him to play in game one. But whether he's at 100% or not, nobody knows. because this is all like state secret stuff now. Like he might be completely healed 100%, but nobody knows because no one's allowed to see any of these guys right now. This is like these players right now are more tightly secure than the gold in Fort Knox.
Fantastic.
So yeah. So if Mohamed Salah, if Mo Salah is 100% healthy or pretty close to it, then watch out for Egypt.
A possibility to override Russia for the 2 seed.
Yeah, definitely, because every team would have to pay attention to him, and including Uruguay, because he's just that dangerous.
What kind of style play does Egypt play? Is it more defensive or?
No, they like their attacking.
Do they?
Yeah, they like to play flamboyant attacking style. Usually, African teams they usually like kind of like a more physical style of play, but Egypt, they like to think of themselves as like a African version of Brazil. They like to run around and have a good time and just be quick. Yeah,
and what's Russia's style of play?
Russia is kind of like a poor man's Germany. They're, the Germans are very mechanical, technical, precise. It's almost like mathematics for these guys. It's like, okay, you're going to be standing in this very spot, and you're going to move these many feet, and you're going to go between here and there. And Russia tries to play that kind of like same organized
But
game.
basically, the Germans are doing calculus, and Russia is doing like just basically algebra.
Yeah, basic math.
Adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing.
Yeah. So right now, I would pick Uruguay to come out of this division in number 1. And I am going to stick with Mother Russia, finishing number 2.
Here we go for the Mother Russians.
I believe this time is for real.
It's always for real in the World Cup.
Let's go to Group B. Group B, we have a bit more of an intriguing and slightly closer group. We have Spain. We have the defending European champs, Portugal. Morocco, and finishing off with Iran. And I ran
so far away.
Couldn't get away.
They might feel like they can't get away from this tournament quick enough. I'm not feeling good about their chances.
Me neither. So the rankings in this division are kind of a bit silly, actually, because we have Spain, which is ranked 10th in the world. Portugal is 4th, Morocco 41st, and Iran is 37th.
Huh?
Yeah. So the rankings seem a bit...
confusing?
Yeah, a bit confusing.
Senseless?
Yeah.
Befuddling? Incompetent?
Yeah.
Incapable?
Yeah.
Unreal?
Imbecilic, even.
Embarrassing.
Now, Portugal being 4th, sure, okay.
Defending Euro Cup champions.
Makes sense. You win a major trophy, you should be ranked high. But for Spain to be ranked all the way down in 10, that seems a bit low. And then Morocco, who we've been talking about them, we both feel they're a better team than Iran is, and yet Iran is ranked higher.
Why?
So this is deeply strange.
Somewhat disturbing.
Somewhat.
Somewhat befuddling.
Somewhat befuddling. So
outright confusing.
Well,
kind of an anomaly.
Near outright.
Just outright stupid?
Well, near outright, yeah.
Near outright? We're bordering on outright?
We're bordering
on
kind of,
outright. Sort of, type of, maybe, perhaps.
It's right, sort of, kind of there. So in this division, we don't have the kind of variety as we do in Group A, where you have 4 teams from 4 completely different parts of the world. Here we have Spain and Portugal, obviously both Europeans and both neighbors, actually. And then we have Morocco representing Africa and Iran from the Middle East. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this division here?
Well, I think this is a 2-team race between Spain and Portugal. Then, after that, what I've heard about Morocco, it seemed like a competent team, but they're just seem to be in over their heads against the other 2.
Yeah.
unless someone massively disappoints, which sometimes happens at these tournaments. And Iran just, I get the status at bottom of the barrel. Mind you, did you say Iran outranks Morocco?
They outrank Morocco. Yeah, in the FIFA Coca-Cola standings right now, they're technically 4 spots ahead of Morocco. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a mystery to me because Iran, like most of their players, play in basically the Iranian league or some lower level Euro leagues. Whereas Morocco, they actually have a few players in their team that actually play in some of the top teams in Europe, such as defenders Mehdi Benatia, who plays for Juventus, and also Hakimi, who plays for Real Madrid. So pretty good players, pretty good teams.
Yeah.
These guys represent. Nesri, their forward, Youssef and Nesri, plays is a striker for Malaga in Spain. So another top division club there. So Morocco actually has some players that are, most of them actually playing in Europe. And like I say,
in top leagues,
and a few of them are playing in like top leagues and top teams. So so I think Morocco will actually like put some scare into both Spain and Portugal in this division. And like we talked before, I think it's kind of cruel that they've been put into this division because they've got 2 heavyweights that they got to get past. Had Morocco been in, let's say, Group A, with Russia, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia, then I'd say, oh yeah, Morocco, they're going to be number 2.
With a threat to Uruguay, possibly.
Yeah. But luck of the draw, they're facing 2 giants. So, but you never know.
Because there always is an underachieving team, isn't there?
There always is. And and Spain, I mean, we just found out today that they fired their coach today.
You know what we call that?
Yeah.
Timing. Timing and preparation.
Nothing like firing your coach 2 days before the start of the World Cup.
Like, what did they do? Get off the when do the teams get to Russia? Like how long before the tournament?
Usually a lot of teams do it about a week before.
Okay, so they get off the plane, they hang out for a couple days, and just decide, hey buddy, you took the trip for nothing.
Well, the Spanish Federation is basically trying to make a statement here, because what led to this is that their national team coach, his name is Julian Lopetegui, say that 10 times fast.
That 10 times fast?
Oh, that's evil.
Thank you.
Turns out he's been in secret negotiations with Real Madrid. Because Real Madrid, their coach, he announced that he's not going to be coaching him next year. So the Spanish coach, Lopetegui, has been in secret negotiations to become the new coach of Real Madrid. And Madrid just announced this yesterday, so Tuesday. So on Tuesday, they made the official announcement that, yeah, he's going to be their next coach. And so the Spanish Federation heard about this, and they're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to be concentrating on the World Cup. What are you doing negotiating, to be the coach of another team? So they didn't like that he was doing that, and they didn't like it that he was especially doing without telling them even. So yeah, they made a statement, and kaboom, popped a cap.
Popped that cap in his.
So that will be a big question: is how does Spain respond in this tournament, being coachless, like no official head coach right now?
There's no official head coach either.
Nothing.
Ooh, glad I jumped on Portugal for the $4.20 today in that game.
So yeah,
because that line will probably go down the next day or two, possibly.
Yeah. So let's see what happens here, because if Spain stumbles, if they don't beat Portugal on Friday, or if they even have a weak game, media is going to be all over the Spanish team for this whole coach fiasco. So watch out here. So Group B, Spain, Portugal, that's our thinking, and Morocco being a bit of a headache.
Unless things fall apart with Spain, maybe they sneak in their spot.
There you go. That's a distinct possibility too. The door is open for Morocco. Group C. Here we have France, Peru, Denmark, and Australia.
There seems to be a love affair with Peru by everyone that we're not sharing.
Mm-hmm. There are. They're coming into this tournament ranked 11th in the world, and they have a 2-year unbeaten streak going. So can't fault them for having momentum. They definitely got that. And yeah, many pundits are very pleased with this Peruvian team, and they think they're going to do some damage in this tournament. If we're looking at the rankings of the teams, in this one we got France ranked 7th, Peru 11, Denmark 12, and the Australians 36. So, obviously, we're thinking France is the big dog in this group.
Mm-hmm.
After that, Peru, Denmark, Australia. Are you in love with Peru?
No.
Do you love Peru?
No.
Are you ready to cheer them on?
No.
Bet on them.
I'm not feeling the love.
Not feeling the love.
I'm not feeling the love. I'm liking Denmark number 2, I think.
Yeah, so do I. I also like Denmark. I think Denmark is a team that should be getting a lot more action here. A lot more people talking about them because they have just a lineup filled with some serious stars.
Don't they generally have some very good teams?
They do. They do. Denmark, size doesn't matter in this case. Because despite being a small nation, small population, they pump out some amazing soccer players every single year.
Because I don't have the soccer knowledge you do, but they're a team to me that doesn't generally win tournaments, but they generally make some runs and knock off some teams, don't they?
They do. They're a dangerous team. They have always like super talented players, and this year is no different. Like they're solid at all positions. Like at goalkeeper, they got Kasper Schmeichel, who's plays for Leicester City, who won the English title just 2 years ago.
I'm sold just on the name.
Kasper
Schmeichel?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Kasper Schmeichel? Say that 10 times.
He's a second-generation goalie, actually, because his father, Peter Schmeichel, was a phenomenal goalie from Manchester United and also Sporting in Portugal. So, yeah, he's got solid bloodlines going here. But, yeah, on defense, they got Andreas Christensen, who plays for Chelsea. They got Yannick Vestergaard, who plays for Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. And in midfield, they got their playmaker, Christian Eriksen, plays for Tottenham in England. So this is just a dangerous team all around. And I think these guys can even give France a run for their money for first place.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't sleep on Denmark.
No. I was thinking it was number 2, but you sound like you're going number 2, possible number 1.
Yeah. I really like Denmark. France is a good team. There's nothing wrong with the French team. They're just, up and down. Nothing but goodness there. But again, France more recently has been kind of up and down. We've had some really good French teams that have played really well. And then we've had teams like the 2010 French team where
just laying eggs in the tournament.
Just laying eggs and just out of the blue. So France's issue is not talent. They have plenty of that.
Consistency.
It's consistency and it's the mind. It's the mind.
Oh.
If there's one thing I know, it's the mind.
Messing with the mind.
Messing with the mind. We're not messing with Sasquatch.
Nope, we're messing with the mind.
So that's our picks. France, Denmark, Australia, Peru.
Do you have a preference of those 2 teams?
Not really feeling it. I would have a preference for Australia, actually. I've seen them play in previous tournaments, and they're always, just a really good defensive team. Like, they park the bus.
That's I love that expression. I don't like watching that brand of soccer, but I love that expression.
And that's what
parking the bus.
They're parking the bus. They put 10 players in front of the net and one lone striker way out at center field, just picking those cherries.
Oh, that's just one of my favorite sports expressions of all time.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just love it. Park the bus.
Yeah, park the bus.
I love it in hockey. It's like clogging the neutral zone. In soccer, they don't fool around. They're parking the bus.
They're parking the bus. Yeah, it's very obvious what they're doing. And Australia actually does a good job of it. They're a big, tough, physical team, but physically large players.
Well, buses should be big and sturdy.
And they are. They're slow. So they do fit the stereotype of the
Bus,
bus.
because it's not a car, it's a bus.
It's a bus. They're big, slow, lumbering players, but they play well positionally. And yeah, in previous tournaments when they've had their chances to score, they do score. They can score. So yeah, I like Australia to finish third. Let's go to Group D. Group D, we have Argentina, Croatia, Nigeria, and Iceland.
This sounds like a pretty tough division.
It is. This is definitely one of the closest divisions. I think this one, and I think it's Division H, actually, are the two closest that we saw when we're breaking down these divisions. So right now, as far as rankings, Argentina is ranked 5th, Croatia 20, Nigeria 48, and Iceland 22. So for the rankings, it doesn't sound that close. However, Argentina, we know about them. They're just a good team, super powerful, and they're once again favored to win the World Cup, or one of the favorites anyway. But Croatia, just like Denmark, that's a country that produces just tons of amazing soccer talent, and they do well in every tournament they're in.
They're kind of like Denmark in a sense. Well, I guess you can't write them off from winning. You don't personally, I don't expect them to win, but yeah, not surprised if they make a run and knock off someone who's capable of winning.
Yeah, exactly. Because again, like Croatia, they have like a lot of excellent players playing on the biggest teams in Europe. So like just some examples, we got Luka Modric that plays for Real Madrid, and Kovacic also plays for Real Madrid. And
just the fact you make Real Madrid is a statement.
And they're both starters for the best team in Europe. So that's a couple of guys they got in midfield, and then
best club team in the world.
Yeah,
easily. Yeah.
And the other players they got Mandzukic as their top forward. He plays for Juventus, best team in Italy, one of the best teams in the world. I mean, these are literally up and down the Croatian lineup. Like, there are no real soft spots here. Like, these are good players playing on amazing teams. So these guys are facing like the top competition like every single week. So they're not going to be fazed by anyone they see at the World Cup, because chances are they've either played against them or these guys were their teammates just 2 weeks ago. So yeah, so watch out for Croatia. And then we got Nigeria and Iceland.
This is where it gets kind of interesting.
Are you believing in Iceland?
Ooh, you know what? I want to, but it's hard to with this group. But can't write them off either. But Nigeria sounds like a very good team as well.
Yeah, Nigeria, they've always been one of the better African nations, and yeah, their players are just physically big, strong, and fast, which is a frightening combination that you have size and speed to go with. So yeah, I'm a fan of Nigeria. I really like them, and especially their forward group. That's their strength, is the forwards. So the question with Nigeria will be their defense. How soft is that underbelly?
That's interesting in a game particularly against Iceland. Because what gives? Does the physical mismatch work for Nigeria? Or does Iceland's team play break down that weak underbelly on defense if Nigeria makes mistakes?
Yeah.
What gives?
Yeah.
I don't know. At first I was thinking Nigeria. Now I'm almost leaning towards maybe Iceland. I could see myself changing my mind 4 or 5 times before that game.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And yeah,
like each way, yeah.
Yeah, you can easily make a case for either team. Like, especially given what Iceland did 2 years ago at the Euro. Like, you can't ignore them anymore. Like, that wasn't a fluke. They went up against top teams and they hung with them. And they even eliminated England.
They did.
which caused England to fire a coach that hadn't lost a single game in 2 years. Iceland did that. So, I mean, and yeah, they gave trouble to everybody they faced. And once again, they qualified for the World Cup, and they qualified easily.
Well, my family's lineage is from England, but I still have to say this, like, it's basically a nation in soccer that has a history of shitting the bed. They just find a way to shit the bed.
Yeah. We'll be getting to good old England pretty soon. But yeah, they are a perennial underperformer. So in this one, are we assuming that Argentina is going to make it out of this group, one of the top 2 spots?
Assuming, but not feeling overly confident about it.
So Croatia and Nigeria, you think and even Iceland, actually. Croatia, Nigeria,
like any
Iceland.
one of these, like Iceland, I can't see Iceland winning this whole pool, but they have an outside shot at finishing second. Yeah, they could finish anywhere from second to fourth. I'm leaning right now towards third or fourth.
Yeah.
But man, yeah, because I think a lot of it is how good is Argentina. The only team I'm really convinced about maybe is Croatia.
Yeah. This one I have a really hard time with. As much as I do like Croatian, they have some very good players.
And I'm not even seeing Croatia for sure for first. They're just a team I'm most confident finishing top 2.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one, just some preliminary studies. I could literally see any 2 of these coming out. I'm pretty sure Argentina is going to be one of them, but the other 3, it could be any of them. Like, it could be any of them. Like Nigeria's style of play, their strength, their power, and the fact they have like some very good forwards on this team.
How's Croatia's defense?
That's their weak spot.
So that's the same thing when they play Iceland, because that's what Iceland kind of feasts off of.
Yeah.
Is just playing a good, solid game, and they're maybe not the most talented team on paper.
Yeah.
But they play so well as a team, they could take advantage of you if you're weak defensively.
They can.
Oh,
yeah.
That makes it all tougher.
Yeah. So it would not be a huge surprise if Iceland finished second in this group and overtook both Nigeria and Croatia.
The one thing they don't have from this time is the element of surprise.
That's right. That's right. This time, like, everyone should be prepared for them. If they're not, then they're going to pay the price. Because, yeah, don't take the Vikings lightly. History alone tells us.
No.
Not even most recent. Like, way back history. Don't challenge Vikings. Bad idea.
Unless it's the Minnesota Vikings, because they'll find a way to choke in the playoffs.
Oh! Look out.
Pre-NFL shot.
Skull.
Pre-NFL shot.
Oh. Group E. Group E. We have powerhouse Brazil in this group. Five-time world champion Brazil. We also have Serbia, Switzerland, and your favorite Costa Rica.
Yay.
Yay. So once again, Brazil, again, as always, the
perennial legitimate contender,
top dog. They should win this division.
Yeah.
Because, they obviously they have the $200 million man Neymar on their team. and he's just one of an entire team filled with stars.
Man, barring them crashing the bus, there's no way I don't see him coming out of this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's about the only thing. So the most important player on Brazil's team is the driver. So after that, Serbia, Switzerland, and Costa Rica. Obviously, Costa Rica would be the underdog in this group. They've done well in previous tournaments, representing CONCACAF, our first CONCACAF team that we've reviewed so far. Can they do North America proud? They managed to make it to the second round of the last World Cup. Can they do this again, against beating out Serbia and Switzerland?
Ooh, that's tough. What do you think of Serbia this year?
I like Serbia. I really like that team. I have them coming out of this group along with Brazil. Because, like at midfielder, they have Matic, who currently plays for Manchester United. He also played for Chelsea and Benfica. Really good player. He's the ultimate defensive midfielder. So in soccer terms,
He can really control all the play then.
he does, and they basically for his style of play, they generally term guys like him as a destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
When the play comes, he destroys it. Whatever you're trying to do, he crushes it, and then he starts a play for his own team.
Yeah, I kind of like them behind Brazil. I'm not so sure about Switzerland. I don't think they'll put in a bad outing from what I've heard, but I'm not as convinced about them, and I think Costa Rica might just be in over their head here.
Yeah, Switzerland.
I'm not sure about Costa Rica, Switzerland for third seed though. That I'm not too sure about.
Yeah, Switzerland. Yeah, I feel the same. They're a good team, and they got good players. But they're kind of I always think of them as more of a pest. You know, they're kind of like around, and they're like nibbling at your ankles, and it's like they don't go away. It's like you keep thinking, okay, you keep fighting them back, and they just keep coming back again. It's like, all right, we just fought you off, and why do you keep coming back?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of Switzerland. You know, they just have a bunch of guys, and they'll just keep going, and just keep trying stuff.
In that case, I even see them above Costa Rica then.
Yeah, like I say, Costa Rica. What they have, again, they're similar style of play to Iceland, where it's all about, just good structural play,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just counter it. When they see an opportunity, they do a quick counterattack. If it doesn't work out, right back to, defense again. So they've been a tough team to break down in the past because they have hung with teams like United States and Mexico, good teams.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously they beat out the USA because
they qualify, yeah.
Yeah, they're not here.
No.
So, it's a team you can't take lightly. So it's a team you definitely have to prepare and to take seriously.
I get the impression, though, that the way Switzerland plays a pesky style could give them some trouble, though.
Oh, it definitely could, because Switzerland, like, just talent-wise, like, there's no comparison there. Like, the Swiss team is much more talented than Costa Rica is. And the Swiss team even potentially is even more talented than the Serbian team. So you could make a case for Switzerland coming out of this group with Brazil. I like Serbia. Serbia is just like a tougher team, like physically tougher. Like they're.
Would you say they're mentally tougher too, or at least physically tougher?
Well, because they're more of like a grinded out team.
Mm-hmm.
Like Serbia is not really a team that's going to be trying to play, really fancy and pretty soccer or anything like that. Like they're the type of team they're just going to give you a shoulder check, take the ball away, and then, cause an opportunity on that kind of a turnover.
With Switzerland, what's their style of play? You're saying it's pesky, but
yeah, it's very, very pesky. So they basically grab the ball and they try to get to the offensive area as quickly as possible. Like they don't really go for the real long passes or anything. They kind of keep it a little bit shorter, but they like to move the ball. They're very offensive minded. They like
they
to
leave
move
themselves
balls
open defensively doing that.
Well, that's their danger is that structurally, given their offensive nature, they're thinking offense all the time. They want to,
so
go forward.
This actually could give them trouble with Costa Rica then.
Yeah, so that
okay.
So a patient team that just kind of like waits, will frustrate a team like that.
Might have changed my mind about Costa Rica over Switzerland.
Yeah, where Switzerland, has the advantage, is like I say, is they have like really talented players and they can move the ball well. So when they're playing at their best, they move the ball really well. They have a lot of quick players. Like they got guys like Switzerland there on the forward group. Who am I thinking? He plays in England, actually for Stoke City. Shaqiri. There we go. I knew it would come to me. A guy like him, he's like 5'0", but when he plays, he's literally like the Tasmanian devil. Like literally, this guy should be spinning all over the field because that's how he plays. Like he's just everywhere. He has
non-stop,
endless energy, and he just doesn't stop. Like even though he's he's a midfielder, and he literally covers every part of the field. Like he'll be inside of his own net, then he'll be in the opponent's net. Like he's everywhere. And they have a few other players that are just like that. They're just everywhere and just bundles of energy. And these guys, like they put everything out there. Like the one thing you can't fault the Swiss is effort. because they will give you maximum effort every single game. And so to beat them, you got to be able to match that effort, or you have to neutralize that effort then.
Which sounds like Costa Rica, because to play a disciplined game like that, you have to make that's effort in itself.
Yeah.
Be an interesting game when they do face.
It would be. It would be literally, you know, tactics and positioning versus just energy. Speaking of energy, Germany. They have some. Group F. Hey, we're in the F group.
Hey, the effing group with for a tournament in Mother Russia.
With the Mannschaft, as they're called. So we have Germany, Mexico, Sweden, and South Korea in this division. I know all the talk has been about the North lately, but they're not here, so we don't care about them.
No.
It's all about the South, the Republic of Korea. So yeah, this one, Germany, first place.
Yeah.
3 wins, no losses, the end, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So no point talking about them because they're just that damn good.
Yes.
So it's between Mexico, Sweden, and Korea.
Pretty much Germany's sitting alone at the adult table and everyone else is at the kids' table.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much. Wishing they could be like Germany when they grow up.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm always reminded by a quote by Gary Lineker, former striker for England, who once described soccer as a simple game of 2 teams of 11 players on each side, and at the end of the game, Germany wins.
I've heard that before, too. What an accurate description.
Yeah.
Germany's so good they win even when they don't show up to play the game.
Yeah, pretty much.
It can be 2 other teams, Germany still wins.
They still win. So, yeah.
England versus France, your winners, Germany.
Germany. Just give it to them. Maybe don't even want to play them.
No need to even show up.
Yeah. So the other 3 teams, we have 3 teams from 3 different conferences here. So we got a North American team, Mexico, a Euro team in Sweden, and an Asian team in Korea. How do we feel about these 3?
Well, Sweden's usually a pretty good team, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are, very much so.
I don't know if they're consistently very good, if they range from decent to very good, but I've seen them play well in some tournaments.
Yeah, Sweden is another one of those. You talked earlier about England, like constantly being a frustrating, underperforming team.
Mm-hmm.
And people have felt that way about Sweden as well for many years. That in this tournament, they're not getting as much love and respect as they have in other tournaments.
That might be a good thing for them.
That's the thing. I think it will be, because looking at their lineup, like they have plenty of good players.
Kind of the way it was for anyone who follows hockey for the Washington Capitals this year.
That's right.
No one believed them anymore. The pressure was off.
Exactly.
And I still wouldn't expect Sweden to win this all, but it can make for a much better run with no expectations.
And that's exactly what they got this year, because in previous tournaments, they have come in with some pretty high expectations. And yeah, they weren't able to capitalize. So yeah, this tournament could be just that. Low expectations, high results.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like Sweden as well. Then we got Mexico and South Korea. Korea has been like, you look at the team and they have some good players, but really most of their players, I mean, they are Korean, so they're not tall. What they have are...
We don't judge here. Actually, no, they're not
Yeah,
tall.
no, we're judging.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they're not tall.
That's the whole purpose of this preview. It's just nothing but judging, actually. Who sucks, who doesn't?
I was living in denial for a moment.
Oh, no, you
The denial is over. I'm back to where I should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Judging everything appropriate and inappropriate.
Yeah, you good? You need water? Is that what's
Actually,
happening
I will
here?
grab a sip of some right now.
Yeah, you maybe better. I think you're dehydrating or something.
The body is letting me down.
Your body's breaking down.
The body's breaking down after the long layoff.
So
Not easy sitting in a chair talking.
Yeah, no, it's not. But yeah, Korea in past tournaments, they've done extremely well. They've come out of the group almost every time and facing against top teams, and they have done it through just sheer speed and aggression. So they're like very aggressive on the ball. As soon as the opponent, touches the ball, there is at least one Korean player right on top of them, forcing that player to make a super quick decision. So that's Korea's style of play, is just speed and aggression. Aggressive to the ball, constantly on the ball. Again, to take a hockey analogy, similar to the way the Vegas Golden Knights played this year.
Just all over you.
Constantly on the puck. Somebody has the puck, they're on you. Like a used car salesman.
Used car salesman. They're not going away.
No,
they're all
not.
over you.
They're all over you. So teams that play Korea, they're going to have to contend with that. They have to be able to make quick decisions, quick passes, and, be mentally strong, because these guys are going to be in your face nonstop, and they have endless stamina. So that's their advantage, is limitless energy, speed. Mexico, they're a team that is they're very talented and very technical. A lot of skill. They can do all the tricks and everything and the fancy passes, and they have lots of creativity. They can come up with some crazy plays to make a play out of nothing.
How's their defense?
That's always the kicker. It's decent. It's actually, I think their defense is better now than it has been traditionally. So, because obviously they've focused on it, so they've got some good players there, and they have some good players sprinkled throughout their lineup. Mm-hmm. So Mexico is a good team, and unlike in previous years, about half their lineup now plays in Europe. Whereas before, traditionally, most of their players played only in the Mexican League, which is a decent league, but not as good as the European leagues. That's just the way it goes. So now that they've got, a lot of their lineup actually playing in Europe, again,
that upgrades their talent.
It upgrades their talent, and again, they'll be able to take on teams like Sweden and Brazil and kind of hang with them, because again, they're used to playing against this level of competition. So Mexico, Sweden, I would think those two are going to be fighting for second, and Korea will be there as kind of an annoyance. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Korea's ever going to be blown out, and I could see them taking points away.
But they're just over their heads to make a run.
Yeah, but I think in the end, just talent wins.
Who's the other team in this division?
Brazil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're finishing first, I think.
Mm-hmm. Was this Brazil or Germany in this one? No, this is Germany, the big kids.
Oh, no, this is Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we didn't even talk about it.
Yeah. Forgot. They were at the adults table.
Yeah, they're at the adults table. That's right. We're talking about the little kids table.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mexico, Sweden, I think it'll be
Sweden I forgot about for a moment, probably because I see him as second, yeah.
Yeah. I think it'll be Sweden. What do you think? Mexico, Sweden, Korea?
I'm liking Sweden. The only thing I'm not sure of who's served between Mexico and Korea. That's kind of tough.
All right.
I know that spot doesn't matter, but just for watching games and entertainment purposes.
Yes, entertainment. Yes.
Entertainment, air quotes.
Entertaining with your dollars.
Yes.
Speaking of dollars, Group G. You're England. Will they be money this time around? We have England and Belgium, Tunisia and Panama.
This sounds like a traditional English year where they get to the next round and that's about it.
Fall flat on their face?
Yeah, pretty much. Top two in this, and then depending who they face around, maybe a second round after that, depending who they get. But yeah.
Well, they're going into this tournament with yet another coach. I think England brings out a new coach for every one of these major tournaments.
They're going to run out. I'll be getting a call soon.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Why not?
I don't really know that much. We need somebody.
Football. Well, yeah, the other one doesn't matter. It applies.
You're qualified.
There's 11 men there. There's 11 men here. It's the same game.
Wait, you can throw the ball? Sure.
Sure. Same as football. Only one guy can throw the ball. Mm-hmm. So England, so competition from Belgium, Tunisia, Panama. So in this one, the ranking is England ranked 12th, Belgium 3.
3?
3.
I know they're traditionally good, but 3?
3. Only 2 in this world are more better than Belgium.
More better?
Yeah, and that would be Germany and Brazil. Other than that, Belgium above all.
Do you agree with this?
I do not.
Strongly disagree with this?
Strongly disagree. This is one of those like telemarketing calls. Do you kind of agree, sort of agree, strongly disagree? No, I vehemently strongly disagree. I disagree with a passion.
Are you sure? I am positive.
I am positive. If you gave me the bat of disagree, I would wrap it in some like nails and broken glass. Like,
and barbed wire.
And barbed wire. So in this one, Belgium and England, they should be the top 2 coming out of here.
Yes.
With Tunisia and Panama, good kids, they try hard, but that's about it.
What do you think of Tunisia and Panama? They're good kids, they try hard. Or is that about all we think of them? Panama,
I think they're really over their heads. I think they're one of the weakest sides in this whole tournament. So I expect them to be just completely owned and obliterated by both Belgium and England.
Mm-hmm.
If, you never know, they might just, again, park the bus and limit them to, 1 or 2 goals, but I don't see it. I think both Belgium and England will put 3 or 4 past Panama. And Tunisia, they're a decent side, but I see
over their headness.
Yeah, I see them as like a poor man's Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they'll be in there, they'll try to hang, but they just don't have the talent.
So basically the poor man's middle class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
But it's still better than Panama.
Still better than Panama, yeah. I think this is a division that's very imbalanced. Like you got
it's top heavy.
Very top heavy. And England, good team. It's a good team all around. Once again, they have the possibility to go far. Whether or not they do,
we'll see.
Flip a coin. And finally, we get to the end. Division H. H for the hottest division. This is, I think when we're breaking it down, this was kind of our group of death here.
Oh, we finally got a group of death.
Because we have in this one, Poland, Senegal, Colombia, and Japan. So 4 teams that I think are pretty close to each other.
Which one would you call more of a group of death? This or the one with Iceland and friends? Or are they both pretty even?
Those are...
The 2 of them, if there's 2.
I think this one, the teams are closer in skill and talent.
From top to bottom?
Yeah, because with Iceland you had, and that one you had Argentina.
Yes.
Which, I mean, Poland's a good team, but Argentina is still just a...
Because Argentina, was it Croatia in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, Argentina, Croatia, Nigeria,
and Iceland, yeah. So, I mean, 4 teams, pretty close, competitive, good parity. But I think this group has even more parity because I think the teams at the top are not quite as good as like Argentina. And the teams at the bottom, like Japan, I think Japan is actually slightly better than Iceland. So I think in both ends, I think there's a lot more parity in this division.
This sounds interesting.
Yeah, so as far as the world ranking goes, we have Poland ranked 8th, Colombia 16, Senegal 27, and Japan 61. Ouch. I think it's a bit of an unfair ranking because I like Japan. And if you look at some of the players they have on their team, I mean, literally, they are playing, they literally have in their lineup 9 players who are playing for some of the top teams in Europe. So I don't think this is a team you can just dismiss outright.
No.
Because these guys are playing in the German league, in England, in Spain. So, I mean, literally, they're playing in like 3 of the top 4 leagues in the world, really. So, yeah, so the Japanese, you know, they're, again, a team that's like very skilled, and they have the speed. Again, there's a, you know, smaller, speedy team.
Very tenacious as well.
Similar in that style to Korea. That's
But with
kind of
more
that,
talent.
but more talent. So you got kind of like that aggressive, tenacious speed, but also talent to follow to back it up. So I like Japan. I think that's a team that nobody can take lightly. Senegal, I think this is like the best African team in this tournament. We talked about Nigeria before being just like a big, strong, fast team.
Same thing with Senegal.
And I think same thing with Senegal, except overall, I think they have even more talent. So just a general decent amount of talent at all positions, even goaltending. They have their goaltender Gomis, who plays in Italy.
That sounds like a big problem they face Japan, because Japan's quick, but if they're fast and big, it just sounds like kind of overmatching them.
That's the thing. Like obviously, you know, Japan playing a team like Senegal, you know, they'd have their work cut out for them because, yeah, just the physical aspect of Senegal would cause problems for a team like Japan.
Now, the question I do have about Japan is Japan have more players playing at a higher level in leagues though than Senegal.
It's basically the same.
I kind of like Senegal over Japan.
Yeah,
there anyways.
Yeah, it's even Steven there. And Senegal, you know, they like to play kind of a controlling game. You know, so hold the ball, make a lot of passes, and not just, you know, as we mentioned, England loves to just throw as many balls as possible into the 18-yard box and take as many shots as possible. And Senegal, they'll play a bit more of a controlled game.
Now,
almost Spain-like.
Okay, now one thing with that, because I was liking Senegal, but when you're talking a control game, can Japan's style of play actually throw Senegal low and make up for maybe that size mismatch, just the style of play being all over them when they're trying to play control?
Yeah, that all depends on who, you know, who forces whose hand, right? Because the Senegal's controlled play, you know, force the Japanese players to get out of position too fast in an attempt to be over-aggressive. Because if they do that, then a space opens up, Senegal takes advantage, right? Or you could say, well, the quick Japanese and the aggression could get to the Senegalese players and catch them off guard and force turnovers, which then causes problems.
So that when they play, it's going to be all about who controls the tempo of the play.
Yeah, big time.
That's a tough pick.
Yeah, it's very tough. And the other teams in the group, you got Colombia, who basically the South American, they play your traditional South American style. Hey, it's our agent. Our agent.
Our agent has news for us.
Man, we haven't heard of him in a while.
No, usually I've avoided him. About when are you getting back to work?
That's right. When you get my money. Yeah, that was our agent. He's angry with us. Got to do more shows.
You barely have an audience. What do you mean time off?
Time off. Yeah, so let's get back to Group H. So we were talking about Japan and Senegal. The other two teams are Colombia and Poland. So Colombia, yeah, playing that South American style of game. Lots of flair, lots of technique, lots of fancy moves. They love to put on a show. And lots of offense. Colombia, they love their offense. They love scoring goals.
They're all about the flair, aren't they?
They're all about the flair. Fortunately for them, they do have an all-world goaltender to back them up, David Ospina, who plays for Arsenal. So they do have a legitimate, good quality, world-class goalie on the back, and they do have some decent defenders as well back there. So, you know, the underbelly of Colombia is not as weak as it might have been in years past. And, of course, the strength of this team is the midfield and the forwards, which they still have. So, yeah, so this is definitely a team that you've got to be so careful with because this is a team that you make a mistake and they have the talent to burn you right away. So one of their biggest players is James Rodriguez or James Rodriguez. Currently playing for Bayern Munich, so one of the best teams in the world. Was formerly for Real Madrid.
Another one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah, and he won a championship or two with Porto as well. So this guy's been around. He's done well. So yeah, and he's like their big star man for Colombia. So yeah, Colombia's a team that you got to watch out for.
A guy like that could carry you a long way just himself.
He could, because he can score from anywhere. Like Rodriguez, he could literally score from center field because his shot is just that good. His long shot is that good.
Question for you: the Golden Boot Award, is that for the whole tournament or just the first round? It's for the whole tournament.
Whole tournament. Yep.
I was wondering if he'd be a possibility, but I just don't know how deep Colombia is going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Colombia has to go deep for that thing to happen. Because usually the winner you only need about 7 goals, give or take, to get that golden boot.
And obviously you have other heavyweights in this tournament, without a doubt.
Yeah, exactly. So but like I say, Colombia, they have some serious talent on this team. So yeah, this is not a team that you can fall asleep on. You make a mistake, these guys could punish you instantly. And lastly, here we have Poland, who is just out and out the most talented team in this entire division. They have great players everywhere. At goalkeeper, they have Szczesny, playing now for Juventus, previously played for Arsenal. They're two decent teams. At defense, they have great defenders like Piszczek, plays for Borussia Dortmund. Same thing at midfielders. They've got some great midfielders. And, of course, at forwards, they got Robert Lewandowski. He's one of the best strikers in the world, currently plays for Bayern Munich. And that's a guy he's a tall guy, he's strong, and he's got just, whether it's heading the ball in or off his foot, Lewandowski is a super dangerous player.
Just a threat from anywhere with any part of the body.
Anywhere. He's the type of guy that you can never let him have the ball anywhere near the net.
So 2 of the biggest strikers in this tournament, in this division. Yeah. So this is dangerous players in this. Basically guys who make it count. You give them one chance, and they'll generally capitalize on it. And both of them play on Bayern Munich.
Yeah, both in Bayern Munich. It's a good team.
I knew they were a really good team. I usually hear more of Real Madrid than them, but
Bayern is at that level.
Bayern is,
Yeah. So Poland's, they're the favorites to win this division. And I think they will win this division. But it's going to be a tough slog.
This isn't going to be clear cut.
No, it is not clear cut. But I'll say this, I think because this division is going to be so difficult, I think the teams that come out of this, they're going to be pretty well prepared because they've had like 3 tough, brutal matches.
Yeah, that's one thing. I know there's 2 schools of thought on something like this. There's the teams are going to beat up on each other, and I think you and I agree on the other school of thought that the tougher the level of play early, the more it raises your game for the rest of the tournament, whether it be a hockey playoffs, basketball playoffs. Basketball playoffs are a little iffy lately. But the World Cup or, the March Madness, whatever. And if you have a tougher fight early, it just forces you to raise your game.
Yeah. And we've seen it time and again that it seems to bear fruit. Like, I'm pretty sure we could probably put together some statistics, over the years in all these different sports to measure, teams that have an easier route versus teams that have a tougher route. Who does well? Who does better? And I think, having the tougher route, gets your mind sharp right away because you have to struggle for every goal, every win, and you can't take anything for granted. So by the time you get to the next round, the knockout round,
you're already at that level.
Yeah, you're already on edge. Like you've been on edge the entire time. You haven't had a single moment of peace.
So it's nothing new to you.
Yeah, exactly. You're already in war mode. Whereas, yeah, some team that gets to roll over Peru.
Our favorite 11th ranked team in the world.
Yes, our favorite 11. Giving no love to Peru.
None. What's Colombia ranked, anyways?
Colombia is ranked 16.
Oh, okay, not bad.
Yep. Yeah. So
but here we're talking about Japan. Was it Japan was 61?
61.
Yeah, Japan this, that, this. Peru number 11. Yes. Yep. Screw Peru.
Yeah, this is where the rankings just do not make sense to me, because how Japan can be ranked 61st in this world, like, just badouge, mind-blowing. They're literally ranked 6 spots behind Panama. And God love Panama, but seriously, like, Panama versus Japan, I am taking Japan, like, 9 times out of 10. The only time I won't take them 10 out of 10 is because 4 out of 5 dentists
recommend that you actually take Japan 9 times out of 10.
Exactly. Because even dentists can't freaking agree on everything. 4 out of 5 dentists say you should floss. Well, what does the 5th one think?
He's busy flossing. He can't say anything.
Oh, maybe that's it. Oh, maybe you're the mind in this thing after all.
No. Hold on, I'm busy flexing over here. Flexing my one pack.
So yeah, in this one, I don't know why, but right now I'm thinking actually Poland and Senegal coming out of this. Even though I like Colombia and I think they're a good side, and I know Japan definitely has the skill to pull it off. I'm liking Poland and Senegal out of this. What say you? Do you have a feeling? An itch?
Well, Poland sounds really good. That Senegal, Colombia, though. How good is Colombia defensively? I know you say they're pretty strong all around, but I hear a lot of offensive flair. I hear great goaltending, but how good's their defense? Is that weakness or competent?
Well, it's like Forrest Gump said about a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
What kind of chocolates did he get? Because I know chocolates have that little map at the bottom of the box.
Yeah. I like the map, actually.
I need the map.
Yeah, because I know there's some chocolates I didn't really care for.
Yeah, same here. Like, I've never understood that, but life is life like a box of chocolates. You don't know. No, because I read the map.
Yeah, I read the map. Yeah,
or whatever you want to call that legend map, whatever.
Well, there's a chocolate-covered caramel. Like, even though I like caramel, it frustrates me.
Why does it frustrate you?
Because you can't stop chewing it. You just chew it.
Oh, it just goes forever. Okay, yeah, that harder
chewing and chewing and chewing.
Oh, actually, it is kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's just hours later.
Because you're supposed to be eating a chocolate, not chewing gum.
Yeah, and this caramel, like, you can't get rid of it. So hours later, you're still chewing, and the caramel wins because you get tired of chewing.
Well, that caramel's undefeated.
Yeah, it's like life.
It's like, as you say, one of my favorite sayings I've heard from you, it's like fighting the wind. You just can't do it. That caramel's taking you down every time.
Every time. Caramel is undefeated.
Now, I like stuff where you have that soft caramel. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But that hard, chewy caramel,
The thing is, it's delicious, and that's what frustrates me.
I'm not even big on it when it's like that. I like it soft.
Good, but I just can't chew it.
For winning the kids' table.
Yeah, well, that's right. Winning the kids' table with Mexico being plucky underdogs there.
Yes, everyone loves a plucky underdog.
Group G, here's another group that required little thinking, and we didn't. England and Belgium, the end. And then Group H, our group of death. Poland and who after that? Colombia, Senegal, Japan. What did your gut tell you?
Between Colombia and Senegal.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and I don't know which one to go second.
Yeah, I had Senegal, but somebody wanted to say Colombia. I would not fight them. Especially since I don't like getting punched.
No. That's why you're the mind.
Think your way out of things.
Think your way out of it.
So that is our preview of the 2018 World Cup. Starting tomorrow, the madness begins with Russia taking on Saudi Arabia. So that is another episode of the Body and Mind Sports Show. Body, thanks again for another great show.
It's been a pleasure again, Mind.
And thank you all for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Body and Mind Podcast.